In this video, we will show you how you can migrate the configuration of Cyberoam devices to Sophose XG Firewall devices. As a prerequisite, make sure that the Cyberoam device is running on version 10.6.3 MR1 or above. The Sophose XG Firewall should be running on the latest maintenance release of version 18 or version 17.5 for a smooth migration process. For example, version 17.5 MR14 and version 18 MR4 or above. Also, ensure that the number of interfaces on the Sophose XG Firewall is the same or more than the number of interfaces present in your existing Cyberoam devices. Some of the caveats and important information related to the migration are: the admin user credentials will not migrate from Cyberoam to the XG Firewall. Restoring the configuration from CRWING series hardware to non-Wi-Fi XG hardware models is not supported. Restoring the backup from a higher-end Cyberoam device to a lower-end XG device is also not supported. All the features and configurations would not be migrated as is to the XG Firewall. Please refer to the Appendices section of the migration guide for more details, and its link is given in the description below. Now let us look at the configuration migration steps. In your web browser, access the Cyberoam Firewall web UI using its LAN port IP. Enter the admin credentials and click on Login. To ensure that there are no firmware compatibility issues during the migration process, it is recommended to upgrade the Cyberoam device to the latest available firmware. Once the device is running on the latest firmware version, navigate to System, Maintenance, Backup and Restore, and select the backup mode as Local. The backup prefix field is optional. However, we are adding the prefix as Migration. Click on the Apply button if you want to save the recently made changes, and then click on the Backup Now button to generate the latest configuration backup file. Finally, click on the Download Now button to save the configuration backup file on your machine locally. Once you have unboxed the XG device, make sure that the device has internet connectivity on its WAN interface, which is port 2 or port B. Next, connect your machine to the LAN interface, which is port 1 or port A, and it will automatically assign an IP address to your machine in the 172.16.16 subnet range. Now, from the web browser, access the XG Firewall's web UI using the default IP address 172.16.16.16 over HTTPS and using port number 4444. After accepting the self-signed certificate warning message, it will show a welcome screen, and then you need to click on the Click to Begin link. This will start the configuration wizard process, asking for a new administration password, and on the right side, click on the Restore Backup option. Click on the Upload button to select the configuration backup file downloaded from the Cyberoam device previously, and then click on Apply. Enter the new password for the username admin, accept the end user license agreement, and the privacy policy, and then click on the Continue button. Now it will take you through the registration process and display the serial number associated with the XG hardware device. Optionally, you can also skip the registration process temporarily, and it will still allow you to use the firewall for 30 days. Click on the Continue button. It will then ask you to create a new Sophose ID for customer portal account creation, or use the Sign In option if the customer has already created one. This video will walk you through the registration process, so we will click on the Create Sophose ID button and it will open a new web browser tab and ask for the email ID that will be used to create a new account. Enter the email ID and click on the Send Verification Code option. It will send the code to the same email ID inbox, so once you receive it, enter the same verification code and click on the Verify Code button. After the verification is completed, click on Next. Enter the new password for the Sophose ID account and your first name and last name, and click on Next. Then it will show the Sophose applications, such as My Sophose, Sophose Community, and the Support Portal. Your Sophose ID account is created successfully at this stage, so you can switch back to the XG Firewall Web UI tab in your web browser and click on Sign In. It will show your email ID associated with the My Sophose portal account along with the serial number of the XG device. Complete the CAPTCHA verification step and click on Continue. It will ask you for the company name, country, address, contact number, and once you have entered those details, click on Continue. It will show the device details such as serial number and device model. The evaluation licenses will be assigned to it by default. Click on the Confirm Registration option. A confirmation message will be displayed saying that the device registration is successful, and then click on Initiate License Synchronization. Once the licenses are synchronized, it will show various licensed features along with their expiry dates. Click on Continue. It will save the changes, and then the XG Firewall will reboot and start the configuration migration process. After a few minutes, when you try to access the firewall, make sure to remove port number 4444 from the URL and access the XG Firewall on the IP address that was initially configured on the Cyberoam LAN interface. In our case, it is the same IP of 172.16.16.16. Enter the username as admin and its new password, and click on Login. Once you have logged in, it will ask you to create a secure storage master key to encrypt sensitive information. Click on the Create Key button and set the master key to store your sensitive information securely in encrypted form. Once this is done, navigate to various feature options such as firewall rules and IP hosts to confirm that the Cyberoam device configuration has been migrated successfully to the XG Firewall. It could be possible that the customers might already have an XG device configured previously, and then decide to migrate the configuration from the Cyberoam device to the already configured XG device. In that case, the Cyberoam backup file can be directly restored on the XG Firewall without going through the wizard and registration process. The XG Firewall should be running on some MR version of either version 17.5 or version 18, and the backup restore process works the same in both versions. Hence, in this video, we will show you the manual backup restore activity on the XG device running on version 18. Navigate to System Backup and Firmware, and under the Backup Restore section, select the Choose File button to upload the Cyberoam configuration backup file. After selecting the backup file, click on the Upload and Restore button, and then OK. Once the backup file is processed and uploaded successfully, it will show a confirmation message saying that the backup was restored, and then start the configuration migration process after rebooting the device. Once it shows 100% completed after a few minutes, the web UI of the XG Firewall can be accessed from the web browser using the LAN IP that was originally configured on the Cyberoam device. These are some useful resource links that you can use as a reference for the migration process. Get in touch with your local SE or salesperson or the technical support team for any assistance required during the migration process. We hope you liked this video and thank you for watching.